Can I talk to you? How worried are you about unemployment rates for young people in Canada? Can you tell me, are you at all worried about youth unemployment rates in Canada?
It doesn't really affect me because I feel like I'm locked into my position where I am right now.
Well, it's a bit concerning. I find it hard to get a job myself.
Kind of worried because I know that when I get out of school, jobs are going to be hard to find.
About 16% of Canadian youth are unemployed. What does this mean for our current and future economy? What does it mean for the youth involved? What can we do about it? So for those of you who don't know, Why Should I Care is a completely volunteer, citizen-driven organization. And our raison d'etre is to help promote dialogue about political issues. I know Canadians, we're very polite people. We're not supposed to talk about religion and politics, and that's because people are saying nasty things about each other. We feel that if you're talking about the issues, that's how we get education and that's how we get better public policy.
In a properly functioning economy, in a free market economy, unemployment should be, not youth unemployment, all unemployment should be 0%. Unemployment is not 0%. The reason is that we don't have an economy that functions like a free competitive economy.
For us, we have to figure out how do we translate education into employment opportunities, and we have to do that as educators, as policymakers, and as young people ourselves, and figure out how do we help people turn that education into employment opportunities.
I wonder about what kind of opportunities are available out there for these students once they complete their programs, considering how many students come in and whether or not there'll be availability for these programs in the future.
I mean, you spend however much money to spend 6-7 years in school, depending on what programs you do, and you get out and you get stuck working at a mall. Like, it's worrying, you know? Why are we putting in this much effort if we can't even get a job?
The issue right now, and the issue always in any economic system, is that you are paid precisely to the extent that you add value to an organization. Young people, given they have limited skill sets, are not as able to do that. And we're seeing this, by the way, play out right now. There's this explosion in employment in the age group from 55 to 65, where the unemployment rate is extremely low, and those jobs and that work is being taken away from kids in the ages of, for example, 15 to 19. And we do not allow the 15 to 19-year-olds to compete on the only basis they can, and that's the basis of price.
So I, since January, have had a fantastic job at the Canadian Youth Business Foundation, which is all about helping young people to create employment opportunities for themselves. And we've helped over 5,600 Canadians, 18 to 39, launch new businesses across Canada by giving them access to business coaching, loans, fantastic mentors, and then access to networks and other supports to keep them going. These businesses look like Canadian business. About 98% of them are mainstream. They're physiotherapists, they're restaurants, they're hair salons. There's a good mix of some little neat high growth and tech-based companies. All of these people, these 5,600 people, came to us with an idea for a business, but only about 10% of them have a decent business plan. So we've got a lot of people there with ideas who just don't quite know what to do.
If you have a pulse, you have a place at any of Toronto's or Ontario's community colleges. We do a horrible job in matching the number of graduates to the number of work out there.
Julia, what kind of policies do you think will help young people find and retain gainful employment?
As a starting point, I think it would be terrific to have entrepreneurship built into our education from kindergarten on. I think it would be terrific to have governments providing the technology and resources and access to mentors through organizations like mine and others to help young people prepare for the job opportunities of the future. And I think we need to have governments and business thinking about how do we bring young people into employment opportunities in as entrepreneurs without putting up barriers and perhaps going out of our way to bring them in sooner rather than later.
If we had really functioning markets, how our employment would be far higher and our education system would be far better. Teachers should compete for wages and for work just in the same way that my dry cleaner has to? Why don't we have a system where the school board can say, you tell me how much you need to teach English this year? You know what? Wages would be from the average teacher salary of, say, let's say 90,000, I believe would be 60,000, which means we could then hire 30% more teachers and each save more money and take care of the unemployment problem at the same time. My God, I've just solved the education system and unemployment in like 30 seconds. That's unbelievable.
Do you feel that unpaid internships are a worthwhile way for young people to gain experience?
I would recommend unpaid internships as in many cases, if not most cases, preferable to many programs out there. What you do with an unpaid internship is you get your foot in the door of an organization. While you're not adding value, you're not asking them to pay you. And the one thing that we know about businesses is that businesses will pay people precisely to the extent that those people are adding value to the organization.
As a career coach and a recruiter right now, I see both sides of the coin. Employers telling me that they can't find the top talent, and job seekers telling me that they can't get the jobs. And the reality is that I'm seeing is that job seekers really need to step up their game of how to market themselves. Over 90% of the resumes I see suck. Like, they need to really differentiate themselves. So part of it, I think, is that the job seekers need to also invest in themselves and what it takes to get into a top company. Employers also need to step up to educate people on what they're looking for as well.
From a university's perspective, but I say it all the time, how much do you think unions are distorting the free market?
There is no question that the unionization, and I would say specifically in the public sector, leads to inflated wages. It leads to, and this is very simple economics, ladies and gentlemen, is that if prices are artificially higher, it means that fewer people can be hired for the same amount of total expenditure, government expenditure. And this is what we're seeing right now in the public sector.
Michael, what kind of policies do you think will help young people find and retain gainful employment?
What we believe is that more government will solve this problem. What will really solve the problem is more people having the opportunity to actually create goods and services of real value. That is what will solve the youth unemployment problem, and indeed the unemployment problem altogether.
So we just learned that there's absolutely no easy answer to solving the youth unemployment issue. A good place to start, though, is to make sure that our educators understand that they need to do a better job of aligning supply and demand of the degrees that they award. If you have a good topic suggestion for us for future discussion, please make sure to tweet us at WSIC_Canada or send us an email at salon@whyshouldicare.ca. We'll see you soon.